I thought it might be fun to remake a scene from a Christmas movie. So I was looking through some of my movies, and then I remembered one of our favorite movies to watch on Christmas. It's the original Grinch. We just watched it yesterday, and I thought it might be a fun idea to recreate it using 3D, but still keep that overall vibe of a 2D animated film. So I thought, well, 10 days away from Christmas probably is the best time to learn grease pencil. So I did. Oh, and by the way, before we start on this tutorial, I better get into the Christmassy spirit, so that's much better. Okay, so I started with a tree, and the way I did this was I used a curve, and then I just shaped it to kind of make a curvature shape. Then using a cylinder, which I kind of squashed down and scaled. So I used an array modifier to kind of stack up, and then I used a curve modifier on the Z-axis to kind of create that wonky shape. Next, I applied my array modifier, and I got the main tree-like shape with proportional editing, and that worked really well. The best part about this is I could reshape it later with my curve since it's still following that curve. Next, it was on to making a toon shader, which I'd done a few times but never successfully. So I was following a tutorial, and I found this wonderful channel called Kevin Dram. He has a lot of grease pencil tutorials on his channel, and so I highly recommend him. Links are in the description. So basically what I took away from this is it's a principled shader mixed with a shader 2 RGB, and then you've got a color ramp in between set to constant, and then you adjust the values. I just changed the white value to a lighter green color, and then the darker value to a darker green color, and this gave that really cool cartoony effect. Next was the outline. So it's actually really simple. I have a monkey head here, and I already have a material assigned to it. I'm just going to give it another material and make it a toon BSDF. Then I changed the color to black, and I checked off backface color. Then I set my blend mode to alpha clip, and my shadow mode also to alpha clip. Then with my monkey head, I gave it a solidify modifier. I then flipped the normals, then made the material offset 1. So then I created a house, and the houses were actually really simple. I just used a curve, and then I reshaped the curve to kind of match that house look, because Dr. Seuss's houses are very curvy, and so I wanted to capture that. And then I filled it and extruded it out, and that was pretty much it. And then I used grease pencil to draw on the surface of it and just add in those details like the windows and the door. I then just kind of aligned my scene to the camera's view, and doing it with Eevee was really easy and simple because it was a real-time renderer, and I was having a lot of fun messing around with it. Then I made like these weird pathway things. I just used curves, same kind of thing, and applied a toon shader to it, and then just kind of filled it in my scene. With the snowy floor, I just subdivided it a bunch and sculpted it into place around my houses. But for the snow on the top of the house, there was kind of a bit of a different story. I wanted the snow to be clumpy like Dr. Seuss's snow, and I couldn't really figure out a way to do that with regular meshes. I could sculpt it, but that would be pretty time consuming. So I figured out a solution. I could use Blender's Meta Ball, which is really helpful because the balls kind of clump together, and I can then apply a toon shader to it and give it a little bit of outline. So you can see me here just duplicating and scaling these meta balls, and they just clump together like snow. It's amazing. Once I had the floor laid down, I noticed that having 2 houses wasn't gonna kind of fill up the scene. So then I added in a couple houses nearer and farther to the camera to give the appearance as if there's more people living here. And then after positioning a lot of the houses in my scene, I noticed that some Christmassy part was missing, and I noticed this was because I didn't have a wreath. So when you look at the reference images I had of Whoville, I had a bunch of wreaths in the reference images, and so then I was like, well, I gotta make a wreath. It was actually pretty simple. I used a torus, and then I added in a displacement modifier, displacing the mesh with a cloud texture, and then adding in a toon shader to that really helped give that effect. Then I did the same kind of array modifier curve thing that I did with the tree, and that works pretty well. I noticed that the background didn't have much to it either, so I just added in a simple mountain, which I sculpted in scope mode. It was really easy, and I just placed it in there with an outline. So after hours of work, my rendering was all done. Without further ado, here is my final animation. So that was it. I really enjoyed doing this project, and I hope to do more things in the future. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.